Quips and quandaries, dirty laundry, aired out, it's all upon me, falling down like angels' head.
What's going on, people? It was kind of interesting. I did that video today and I was diving into profit margins and I was looking at what other people were doing. And it stood out to me that a lot of people don't know how to build a business. They can go out and borrow money, they can go ahead and buy trucks. But when I say they don't know, like, let me show you some stuff that I found that's just kind of blowing my mind. Hold on a second. All right. So went to the Google machine and I found this. What is a good profit margin? Any NYU report on US margins revealed the average net profit margin is 7.71% across different industry, but doesn't mean it's your ideal I was like, what? 7 points. As a rule of thumb, 5% is a low margin, 10% is a healthy margin, and 20% is a high margin. But a one size fits all approach isn't the best way to set your goals for your business profitability. And I was just sitting there, I was reading this, and I was like blown away. I was really, really blown away at that. It just kind of blew me away. You know? And I was like, then I went to, let me see, is it going to, hold on. Let me go ahead and get in here and hit stop screen, get into share screen. You're gonna get a laugh out of this. You're gonna get a laugh out of this. And they were talking about highly profitable industries. Leasers of real estate, 17.4% profit margin. Management of companies and enterprises, 16%. Outpatient care centers, 15.9. Office of real estate agents and broker, 14.8. Office of dentists, 14%. These were highly profitable businesses. Offices of physicians, 11.5%. And the least profitable business, this was other automotive equipment rental and leasing, 12.5%. I was like, where did they get these numbers? Where are these numbers coming from? Because I can tell you that renting cars on hire car ain't gonna get you no 12.5%. And then the least profitable business, oil and gas extraction, beverage manufacturing, 0.8%. Groceries and related, I knew the grocery stores were low margin, 1.9. And I was just sitting here like, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then I have never had a business that had a profit margin less than 20%. And I'm just sitting here like, and I'm bleeding. Had to do a little shaving. I was sitting there like, the way that I was taught to build a business was, and this is one of the reasons I don't start businesses with loans and borrowing money. um, is you want to get at a minimum of 20% profit margin. Now, let's go ahead and define profit margin. There's your gross profit, and then there's your net profit. And your gross profit can be a little confusing because your gross profit is before you start pulling out expenses. That could be considered your top line revenue or your gross revenue. So that's a little confusing because once you start, because I like to do net profit. That's minus taxes, that's minus expenses, that's minus the cost of goods. And when I was in the storage auction business, our profit margins were 50% at a minimum, and that was a bunch of bad units. And sometimes our profit margin would be 70%. And one of the things I'm going to doing, yeah, this has been a long time since I did a live stream. It's been many, many months, many months. Close to, I stopped doing live streams like October. So October, November, December. Yeah, like 9 months. So let me go ahead and get into the chat. What's going on? What's going on, people? What's going on? That's why there's so much corruption on Wall Street. Need those big profits, man. I know that renting cars, that kind of blew my mind. That really blew my mind. And it got me to thinking that so many people, like I've watched people I would consider to be fairly smart. Uh, they go out and they build these businesses, and this is one of the big things that happens. People go out and build these businesses, and they don't have a fundamental understanding of the financial aspect of the business. Like, like this is something that's happening right now, and because the only reason I know is because I watched the videos. A lot of people who were doing hot shot trucking. Now, what is hot shot trucking? This is non-CDL trucking. It's usually with a dually and a big trailer. And a lot of these people who were doing hot shot trucking, and they were talking about hot shot trucking and the money was making, many of these people are moving to regular semis because they've been in the business long enough to understand that they can drive the same miles and make more money. And it took a minute for that to get in there. Yeah. Omar, I am out of the car rental business. I've been out of that. Where have you been? That's pretty much. I have been out of the car rental business for quite some time. I am down to, I've sold most of the cars. I'm down to 13 cars out of 31. So I've sold a lot of them. But I've been watching these people because here's the thing. And this is one of the critiques of YouTube University is it will teach you, it will expose you to a business model, but it will not expose you to how to run the numbers. And I'm a numbers guy. I always run the numbers. And this is one of the reasons, because when I was running the numbers for the car rental business, they were horrible. They were terrible. They were disastrous, right? So I got out of that. And one of the things I'm getting ready to do is foundational fundamental training because, like, all of these guys who are doing hot shot trucking, who got into hot shot trucking with no understanding of how to build a business, with no real orientation of how to set up their books. When I used to do a lot of consulting, the average business owner doesn't have their books set up correctly. They don't even have it set up. The average business owner is operating out of a one checking account, which is disastrous. And I'm going to explain to you why one checking account is disastrous. If you have, let's say you have a e-commerce store, you have one checking account, you have an e-commerce store, you have a merchant account, and you have payroll. If there's any error in anything, or let's say you're getting ready to do payroll and you get a chargeback, and that chargeback comes out that account, because unless you have like a $10,000 to $20,000 buffer in that checking account, if you're running things kind of tight and you get some chargebacks, checks start bouncing. That's not good. That's why you want to have, payroll. And like, once again, there was someone here on YouTube talking about how she wasn't able to pay her payroll. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Here's the thing. This is something that I can say. I have never, ever in my life failed to meet payroll or failed to pay anyone that worked for me. That is a responsibility that I take very seriously. And this person was just talking about, well, you'll get your money eventually. And at that moment, I realized there was some funky stuff going on over there. Because here's the thing. You go to work every day and you have an unwritten contract with your employer that at the end of pay period, you get a check, and you go to the bank and your paycheck doesn't cash or your paycheck bounce. That's a problem. That's not a joking manner. And I'm just sitting there like, so one of the things I'm getting ready to do is there's a few people that I will fuck with. But the majority of YouTube, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to leave it alone, and I'm going to stay in my lane. And I'm going to work on my own projects and stuff, because what I know and have experienced as an entrepreneur is not common knowledge on YouTube, even from so-called people who are experts. What's up, Uncle G? Didn't know if you seen that guy in Texas that was killed when he went to recover his car that was a loaner from a client. Guy didn't want to get. That is sad, but I'm not surprised. This was one of my biggest issues, was getting my cars back from people who weren't paying me. They didn't want to bring them back. They wouldn't bring them back. I had to file a police report to get my cars back because these numbnuts don't want to bring my cars back. They didn't want to bring them back. So that, Ricardo, that doesn't shock me at all. Doesn't shock me at all. Doesn't shock me at all. Not even a little bit. I mean, so one of the things I'm getting ready to do is some new training. Like there's home economics, and then when I got sick and all that stuff happened, I stopped pushing it because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to keep going on and doing this stuff. So there's going to be a lot of changes around here. A lot of changes. So hold on a second. So one of the things we're going to get into, because a whole bunch of people do not understand the important foundational stuff of starting a business. Like the video I made, like with talking about people buying on the dip, right? And everyone's talking about buying on the dip. The Great Depression happened. We're going to have another long-term period where stock appreciation ain't going to be a thing. And I think that we're in that. I think that's the beginning, because this is the longest the stock market has been down in 90 years. 90 years. And it's only been 7 weeks. So Daniel Berger, where you folks been? I have tons of videos on here saying the car business sucks and you ain't making no money. I don't know where y'all been. So, like the car rental business, there's a bunch of people who were making Toro videos and who were talking about they're making money. Let me go ahead and say something. Let me go ahead and be really, really clear. And respectful. I'm going to be clear and respectful. The majority of these people have never seen any real money. The majority of these people have never seen $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in their personal checking account. Unless it was a random event or they got an inheritance or something. They have never seen that. Daniel Berger, stop asking me damn questions about the car rental business. What you need to do is direct yourself to my YouTube channels and watch all the videos that I made about that. We're not going to keep talking about that when I have put out 50 videos talking about that. So go ahead and direct yourself to the YouTube channel and watch the videos. The majority of these folks who are coming on YouTube, like, this is what's kind of funny. There was a video talking about couch flipping, which is selling furniture. And it took off. And there's this whole couch flipping niche. I sold couches and dining room sets and bedroom sets. My apps. A lot of people I don't think are being 100% transparent with Turo, because every time, like this one dude, he went into a Toro partnership with some guys that got some really nice cars. And he said all their cars were damaged. They were not making money. They had issue after issue. So one of the things that I am learning and paying attention to is the business climate on YouTube. The business climate on YouTube. JB Well, thank you for the $20 super chat. Operating margins could be skewed by whether or not the owner takes a paycheck or not, right? Learning how to read basic accounting is a skill seen few to have. 100%. Now, here's the thing. And this is something JB Well makes a really, really good point. The majority of people who are making businesses on YouTube cannot take a paycheck. They can't get a pay stub. They cannot get a paycheck. They cannot get a paycheck. And one of the things, now this is something that seems really smart, and a lot of people making a lot of money. Renting a room in their house. This girl, she put up a video and she made $30,000 in 1 year renting out a room in their house, which is smart. It made money. I wouldn't do it. And that's one of the things that I have to be careful about, because just because I wouldn't do it doesn't mean it's not a good business model. I would not, I house hacked when I was younger, but I would not do any house hacking now. I wouldn't do it. I would not do house hacking right now. You couldn't get me to do it. And I had a lot of people ask me, could they rent the BMW, the Porsche, and I was like, uh, you're out of your mind. I was like, there's no way I'm renting out these vehicles. There's no way. Let's see. Let's do this right here. She was renting one room. Excuse me. Rooms on Airbnb. Where is she? There's so many. Can't find it. This girl made $30,000 in 1 year renting out one room in their house. All right. No, that she was making like 2,500 over the whole month renting out her room. And there's a lot of videos talking about you can rent out a room and literally pay your rent. And once again, I'm having to learn how to be respectful, because I wouldn't do it. I live in a 3-bedroom place and I would not rent out a room, because I don't want people up in my stuff. But that's me. But if you're young, and also, age has a lot to do with it. There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't do that I had no, like, I was in the military and there was 3 of us in this big room and we would put the lockers a certain way and we have our girlfriends and we'd be hitting that. I wouldn't do that today. I couldn't do that today. But back then I had no problem doing it. I don't know where she was. Oh, businesses will be around during the financial reset. Businesses will definitely be around during the financial reset. That's who's going to survive the reset. Like, once again, I'm going to say this. Me would never get into trucking. But if you're well capitalized, the time to get into trucking is now. Why? Because it's a bad market. So when you get into trucking in a bad market, so that when the market turns, as it will, then your expectations will be properly set, because you will know, oh, the market can go bad. But when you get into trucking when a high market and all you see is positive checks and big checks, and then the minute it goes down, you lose it. Like, it would be like asking you that you're making like $150,000 to do this job, and then they take, hey, we're going to take 50,000, but we went away and we want you to do the same job for 100. Most people going to walk. Most people will walk. So, one of the things that I'm getting ready to do, like, there will be different live streams on this channel. I got to sit down and put it all together, but there will be more live streams on Glendon Cameron School. I got something I'm working on. Omar, Glenn, should I be paying my expenses and equipments out of my operating company checking account? Yes, you should be paying that out of your operating company checking account. Your holding company, unless you know you're doing some exotic stuff, your holding company should just collect profits and that's it. Man, the financial reset is real. What's your opinion of the employment market going to be at the end of the year? I feel that we're getting ready to go through a massive roll of layoffs. I think unemployment is going to be up at the end of the year. And if it gets as bad as I think it can, Joe Biden will not be reelected. That's how bad I think it's going to get. Oh, the lower middle class, like once again, a lot of people are getting squeezed. A lot of people are having a problem. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are having issues. A lot of people are going through it. And we're going to be talking about it. Like, once again, I'm getting ready. If you noticed, I've posted, because like I said, let me just tell you what happened. All right. I started getting sick and I had allergies, and then it was a cold. And then I've had the most. How many of you know what gout is? Gout is when you get inflammation in your joints. And typically, for the last 2 years, this was something that was a byproduct of my heart attack. It really wasn't that bad. It would be like 1 day, maybe 3 days, moderate pain, a little swelling. This year, it came on with a vengeance. I've had 7 gout attacks from the beginning of the year up until recently, and some of them have been debilitating. Like I'm walking around on crutches and stuff. So I was going through that period, and then it happened. I had gout in my knee, in my hand, in my wrist, in my elbow. And my elbow would throb in the middle of the night. So I actually just called the doctor, got an appointment, got in front of someone, got me some medicine, and man, I wish I had did it sooner. But see, the gout wasn't really a big issue for about 2 years. But when it became really problematic, that's when I took action. And if you could tell, my mood is improved because essentially, when my leg would swell up, I would just lay in bed all day because it just hurt to walk on it. So I'm back now. I'm back. Me and my prescriptions, we're back. $10, JB. Do you still do business consultations? I'm going to put something together. I'm going to put something together. So just give me a little time. But yeah, I don't really, like you can tell, I haven't really been pushing nothing. Ronnie Dan, younger people don't even realize how much they've been cheated from what other, pretty much. They had no clue. They have no clue. What are your thoughts about selling electronics? If once again, this is another thing about I'm working with someone who has a business, and it's like your supply chain. Like, I don't think it's going to be hard to sell those products in those countries, Chris Hill, but can you get a consistent supply chain? That's the first thing you got to put together before you even start. Malcolm, yeah. Right now, I only got one new iPhone for sale on eBay, but I managed to sell a few for more, but they were all out the state. They weren't in the United States. Hmm. Like I don't really know a whole bunch about the mortgage-backed securities and stuff. I'm not really that well versed in it, so I don't talk about it. It's critic. I've noticed that I've had more than normal folks fail to pay me in my wealth development business, in my resale business. I got more normal people request returns. It's crazy. This is something I saw with eBay. I had an auction where I had like 25 products sell, and 5 of them instantly requested a cancellation. 5 of them. So, what it is, the economy is cooling. The economy is cooling. Walmart sales are down. Let me check something. Let me see. Okay. Once again, Apple profits are up 23.8% from a year ago. But they're running into supply chain problems. That's what they're running into. Yeah, that whole gay agenda. And if you know anything, it is Gay Pride Month. And I talked about that on my other channel, Disruptive Male Hike. And it's kind of funny. I got on the elevator today and there was 2 men holding hands. First time I've ever seen that. But yeah, we got all kinds of stuff going on. All kinds of stuff going on. And like I said, I'm rusty with these live streams. So, give me a little time to get back in the framework, because one of the things I want to do is create a nice intro. And I may have someone on Fiverr do that, because this month I am like mentally, I'm in a much better space than I was a few months ago. I don't think we've hit peak inflation. No. And this is one of the things, and this is about the numbers. Like, they say inflation is 8.5%, right? How did they come up with that number when we know that real estate is going up 20%? Real estate inflation in some areas is 34%. How did they come up with that number? I feel that they have trumped down the number, because if people knew that inflation was really running at 20 something percent, they would be freaking out. Not yet. Not publicly reported. Inflation hasn't hit double digits. Publicly reported. However, I feel, let's take what we know. Real estate has appreciated 20 to 34% in some markets. That's inflation. So we already know that real estate alone is in double digit inflation. It's 20 and 30%, depending upon the markets. This is something we already know. So I feel that true inflation is much higher than what we're being told, like way higher, like much, much, much higher. So we got that going on, and we got a lot of stuff going on. But, like I said, I'm going to start doing live streams at Glendon Cameron School, and, just kind of give me this month to get back in the swing of things. Because, like I said, I got a lot of stuff that's going on. Tomorrow is Thursday. And then I've got to work on selling some cars. I feel that housing opportunities, house buying opportunities will emerge this year because we're going through a housing correction because a lot of sellers are cutting prices because, all right, people were acting a damn fool. But you bought a house 2 years ago for 600,000. Now you're trying to sell it for 1.2 million. Come on. Come on. People lost their minds. So I feel that there will be, like, once again, we will see it's June, July, well, May, June, and we'll see July if we slide into an official recession, because there's an official recession and there's an unofficial recession. Give you an example. Retail sales have been in a depression for the last 4 years. So if you look at the economy from a segmented standpoint, we have certain parts of the economy in a recession or in some cases a depression. Oh, people still spending some money. I spent a gang of money today. I spent like $10,000. Because I'm feeling good. I bought all kinds of stuff. Well, part of that was I paid my rent. So that was like half. But yeah, we will be having these little chats and stuff. Like, once again, the future live streams on this channel will be really different. This was just on my mind because I was just looking at the number of people who don't know how to assemble the financial aspects of their business. They know how to go out and borrow money. They know how to buy equipment. They know how to get started. They know how to get into business, but they don't really know how to run and manage the business, if that makes sense. So that's all I got for you guys, because I wasn't going to stay too long. Just a little chit chat. Just like I said, I'm going to ease into it this month. I got a lot of stuff I'm going to work on. So I will see you guys in the next one.